Hello and welcome to We Are Tottenham TV. You're with your boys Marlon and Ashmatic from Spurs Kings TV. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel as well as We Are Tottenham TV. But it has finished Liverpool 4, Spurs 0. 1-0 at half time. We kind of said we need to come out in that second half and produce.
4, Spurs 0.
Ash's trying to repeat me there. We said we had to come out in that second half and play, and we kind of just didn't turn up in that second half.
Nah, not at all, man. It's mad because, you know, we knew we had to come out and do something a little bit different to the first half after conceding that first goal. And you said it, you called it, you said this is where Ange needs to tweak, he needs to do something a little bit different. And some might argue that the players let him down, you know, because there wasn't a lot of fight in that second half. There was no one that kind of rolled up their sleeves, got their hands dirty and said, like, it's on me. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of fans...
You were calling that out. You were saying in the first half, no one's taking it by the scruff of the neck. We need Sonny, we need Sonny, we need Sonny. We need the Kulu as well, but you're looking at Sonny as captain. So you could blatantly see if we can't even do that in the first half, or in any part of the game, it was just wasn't going to happen, was it?
Yeah, we didn't have... There was no way we could carry anyone. Do you know what I mean?
And we were carrying some players today.
And people just go and hiding. Like, you need to get on the ball, make it happen, and be brave. That's what I think the coach wants. He wants his players to be brave, at least have a go. At least go out swinging. And what? How many shots a goal did we have? Nil. Poor. Apart from Sonny hitting the post, I can't remember a single thing that they did. Do you know what I mean? The boys, like Marlon was saying, look, we shouldn't have to motivate them for a semi-cup final.
No,
it should be intrinsically, like, that should be when we start to push up and we start to do things different. But again, it's just a mixture of things. I would even just put it down onto the players. I feel like it's a club thing.
It's a full club thing. Like, this is nothing new, is it? This is how the season is going.
Yeah.
But, you know, we all had hope after that Liverpool win. But Liverpool probably wasn't as full strength as they were today. If we're looking at it, the two games.
It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
But everything fell for us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because Bergvall should have probably had a second yellow card. Things were all going our way. Liverpool weren't creating the chances as they were in the 6-3. But it just seemed to be, Slot went, I see how you play. I'm going to do this.
I think that was a difference because, like, some people will be like, oh, you can't blame us on Ange. It's definitely the players.
No, everyone's got to take... Everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone needs to take some responsibility. You can't just keep doing that. It's nonsensical in my opinion. But what I will say is, like, compared to Slot, you can see.
You saw what he done in that second half.
Like, slow, like the first half, slow, controlled. Do you know what I mean? Then, like, there was times the tempo went up.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And then it was like they had us pinned. And then in the second half, when they just turned up, they came out of gear 1, they went to gear 2. Gear 3, we just had no answers for them. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean, the difference in tempo controlling and managing the expectations and of the actual players on the pitch. So
yeah, sometimes you got to look at it and go, when you put out someone like Ange, who's got to change the whole culture of the club, it's difficult.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Super chat from Alex Harris, and this is why I've just gone on today. He's gone, time for a new owners and a new background staff. And I think that's what's very, very important to everything that's going on. It's not just Levy, it's the people he employs.
Yeah,
it's the mentality of a club of a whole, right? And everyone will go, fans, but we're only there on a Saturday, and most people go to that stadium in expectation to win.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
They
Even
do.
though you might see YouTubers for the whole week and whatnot.
No, a lot of fans, they go thinking that Spurs are going to win today. Yeah, even on the YouTube side, you hear fans... The YouTube fans, they say, look, we're going to win today. I predict a 4-0 or 3-0.
Everyone's predicting optimistic, but the mentality around the club is what's kind of killing it at the moment. Even in big games, like, everyone will go, but we've been to this many semi-finals and this many finals. But we're not getting over the line.
But if I'm going to be real, I'm going to think, like you said, like we both said, it's a mixture. We can't just blame it on Ange. You can't just blame it on the players. It's a club mentality thing. But I would say, if I'm looking at it and I want to get into the detail, we're looking at an aging Son, and we're now seeing it live in the flesh.
We haven't replaced
And
like we did with Kane. We didn't have replacements ready.
this is what I'm saying to you. So when you're looking for big game players turning up, we're like, well, Son's a big game player. Yeah, he hasn't been playing well all season, but now's the time we normally see him turn up. He was nowhere to be seen or heard.
We've got another super chat here, but I'm not going to read it fully because it's actually a bit disrespectful to someone. But it says, bring out the gimp. I'm not going to say who it refers to, but...
Mad thing. That's mad.
But it's just
That's
like...
wild.
There's no need to get personal. Harry Hurst, you've also put in a super chat, but you haven't put anything. So if you could put something in the chat, and I'll try and read it out. Don't pay for another super chat. I'll try and see if you've put any words somewhere. Who's Harry Hurst? Yeah. I'll try and look for you once we're going through the link, or if you find if you're getting first, because I'm on my phone now. Yeah,
but like, so if you look at that, then obviously everyone's going to talk about the injuries, but the fact that we had to put Spence as a right winger
says it all. But then,
do you know what I'm saying?
That's a tactical thing. You didn't. Everyone would have probably swapped it the other way around and put Borough right wing.
Yeah, this
because
is another
he's more
thing.
Better on the ball than and Spence, but it's like he's trying to make Spence have a bad game so you don't have to play him.
Wow, that's a mad shout, bro. That's a mad shout. Listen, if you disagree with that, come and have your say as well,
Michael
man.
Roach, you've done exactly the same. You've put in a super chat, but no words. Thanks for
People ain't got no more words, but listen, it's that,
maybe that's what they're doing. It's
bro,
like no words.
We ain't got like we're a fan base that's hurting, and I think that's why we're so split and divided on opinions. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, if you can put something in the chat as well, you don't have to pay for it, but we'll try and read it out if we could find it as well.
Yeah, I think
maybe that's what they're doing. No words. One, putting super chats in. We've got no words. There's not really much more I can say. Liverpool better than us. When you look at the clubs where they've come from when we were before the Champions League final.
I mean, I can say more because I could look at the midfield, but I'm sure we're going to get into it as people come on. The midfield was non-existent in my opinion. I know like they had a job to defend and protect the centre backs because we were in a low to mid block. But there's times when you do have the possession, you need to kind of do a little bit more with it. I'm not saying go out and attack, but I'm saying alleviate the pressure that allows you to move up. Because what it is, like when I spoke about Slot versus Ange, like Liverpool weren't always hurried in possession, whereas I felt like when we were in possession, the reason why we didn't create anything is because we were trying to play it out.
I look at that first half. So let's take that first goal that we conceded. First half, Liverpool didn't really lay a glove on us. The midfield defensively was set up correct. What happened is that Sarr was just all over the place when it came to the attacking third and wasn't given. And you knew exactly what his job was, but he was just never in the right place at the right time to receive the pass. And yeah, Basuma will get blamed for the pass because it was a bit like he probably could have played it back to Kulu. But again, he's looking at it going, that's Sarr. But Sarr moved as soon as the ball's played.
Yeah, but you've got to remember as well, though, to be fair, Basuma's touch was baggy in it. I don't know if Kulu put too much weight on it.
Yeah,
that forced him to have a baggy touch like that.
Yeah, and look, I'm not sitting there and defending Basuma.
Yeah,
because apart from after that, in the second half, I thought he was terrible. But on that goal, everyone's going to pinpoint in that situation and go poor pass. But the passing before that was terrible.
I'm just saying, in the middle of the park, that's when you can't afford to make those mistakes,
which has happened today.
And it's not like in our game plan that should be like, all right, cool. If you make a mistake down the sides, it's okay because making a mistake down the sides, you can defend the box.
Yeah. Michael Roach has put his other super chat. Let's pretend we scored a goal.
Hey, that's real copium right there.
Yeah, but
that's real copium. Guys, let's just pretend nothing happened. Well, big up Michael Roach, man. I've been there still.
Harry Hash has done it again. We've put another super chat in, but no words. No words, my brother.
Yeah, don't worry. No words needed, man. No words needed.
Just type it into the chat and we'll read it out. But yeah, there's nothing more to say.
Yeah, I mean, no, there is. Kingsky as well. We're going to get into it, but Kingsky, my lord, the pressure.
He's not dealing with the pressure.
The pressure got to him.
But again, I said this against Arsenal. Where's the captain? Where's the defenders taking him and going? Where Ben Davies is meant to be the one chatting. Ben Davies needs to go to him and say, calm down.
Yeah, I think Ben Davies, out of everyone, was the player that was solid. You know what I mean? He got a lot of blocks in. Positionally, he did well. Took a scar to the head, bled for the club. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going mad at him. But
him and Danso didn't do that badly.
They didn't. But I'm saying, like, there was one time he went to fix I think, the charger or something. But Kingsley laid the ball out and Archie Gray was on the left and it went out of play. And it wasn't like a hard pass, do you know what I'm saying? It was the short passes in that game I felt let him down. And then on top of it, normally he's all right coming to collect. But he's punching when he don't need to punch. Do you know what I'm saying? Missing catches. I'm like, bro, and he bumped into Davies at that point. I was like, oh, look, I don't know if it's a thing for signs to come, but a sign for things to come. But yeah, from there, it just kind of went downhill, and that was in the first 10 minutes.
I think Scorpion for Life, probably, this is where when it went really downhill. Not in the sense of the game, but more in the sense of the curse was there, and he's gone. Richie injury was a big loss. He looked sharp to me. And he did look sharp. He was on the ball, apart from his stupid offside. But he did look like he was in the game, and every time he got it, he was trying to pass it across. But Kulu and Son just weren't giving him the option.
Yeah. He held on to it, not too bad.
Yeah, but as soon as he got injured, you kind of went.
For me, I don't know, with Richarlison, he just runs offside too much for me. He doesn't watch that line. He needs to, like, for me, if you're a striker, you need to be able to see the back of the number, the back of the shirt sometimes.
Look,
of that defender.
I think the way we got to look at it, if we had Solanke, Vicario, Van der Ven and Romero...
Would have had more of a fight.
We still don't win that game.
No, of course not. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. And I think until those players come back, and they're coming back, do you know what I mean, within the next few days, until they all come back.
What do you mean? Van der Ven ain't coming back.
No, not Van der Ven, sorry. Vicario's
meant to be coming back.
Vicario's coming back.
But I don't think they're going to risk it at the moment because the way Van der Ven keeps pulling, and I think Romero's in the same spot every time they keep coming back to training and not fully fit.
Yeah. But I don't think that excuse is going to hang over the head until everyone's back. Do you know what I'm saying? Until everyone's back. And it happened last season. Last season, we had the exact same thing where everyone kept saying, when we get our full squad back.
But this is going to be my issue going forward with Ange, because that's 2 seasons in a row. If I said to you, we're guaranteed to get injuries next year, are you trusting Ange to then take it?
Am I trusting the board? Am I trusting the club? Am I trusting anyone? I'm not really. Do you know what I'm saying?
So, Paul Langley said, if a Spurs player tried typing in a super chat, he would injure his finger.
Yeah.
Mate, but yeah.
I mean, you know what it is? It's just going into Sunday's game, Villa's game, I think the energy and the morale is not a good one going into it.
It's not, because we're looking at this game and they didn't even run tonight, so they should be all fully fit. This was like a training session where they've been told to do nothing.
Yeah.
Liverpool have completely taken them to the cleaners.
Yeah.
And again, they are top of the Premier League for a reason, and we are 14th. And you've got to remember, at one point at the weekend, we were 16th.
Yeah, you know, like Spurs thought we could copy and paste what we did with Brentford, but they forgot that the difference between Liverpool and Brentford is Liverpool actually have, like, gunmen. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, we have to look at it like this. In a couple of weeks, we could be 16th.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't get any wins on the table.
Well, everyone's expecting us to beat United, innit? So,
mate, that would be the game they bloody win, innit?
Boy, listen, if we don't beat Man U, it's going to be very spooky. Indeed.
To be fair, Ange keeps getting the wins when it looks really bleak. He's doing a Ten Hag.
Yeah. No, I hear it, man.
Should we get the callers on?
Yeah, get them on, man. Get them on. Because I got a jet ski.
Boing Ping has also put in a super chat. Again, no words. No words at all. JK has put in a super chat. The thing is, we're going to Villa on Sunday, a very similar place to go as Anfield, and once we lose, what we're going to win.
We've got a better record, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have a better record at Villa. Not in the early 90s we didn't, but in 2000s and stuff recently we have a better record.
We've got a better record there. So
so I'm not too worried. Like Anfield, I'm like, nah, nothing. But at least with Villa, I think we might get something. But let's get our first guest on, and it is George.
Georgie, Porgy, pudding pie, kiss the girls and make them cry. Go on, Georgie.
Hey, George, can you hear us?
Oh, we can't hear you, though.
Can't hear you. You're on mute? Yeah. Or are we?
Yeah, is it us? I don't know. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So, George.
Hi, guys.
Talk us through that game.
There's just, I mean, I couldn't write a list of what was wrong with that game. I mean, it was just crazy. I think the situation started for me, center of the park. I think just Bissouma and Sarr were, to be honest, you could just tell they were just the quality, the difference in quality that was just so apparent. And we were just getting pulled back and back and back, and just the second half really we just came out and it was like we were asleep. I would say
Is
the
that
whole
Everton?
team.
Would you then, so obviously you picked up Basuma and Sarr in that first love, was you expecting them both to be subbed at half time, or at least one of them?
If I was honest, I wasn't expecting either of them to be subbed off. What I was expecting was quite a strict talking to, simply because what we had on the bench ultimately was not going to make that much of a difference in my eyes compared to what we already had on. And really, I didn't expect us initially just to switch off like that in the second half, and it was almost like a contamination throughout the whole field. That centre of the park just seemed to spread out to the rest. I mean, Kulu was just not really in the game. I thought potentially we could have brought on Tel, put him on the right wing, and had taken off Sarr and put Kulu more as a number 10, just to get a bit more bite in there, in sort of a little bit more centrally. I thought we were so weak in every single tackle that we put in. It was just loose, and it was just so drab. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that this is a semi-final. It was as if they didn't just realise what was at stake. There was no fight at all in that second half, which is what I found most disappointing.
Are you saying it was more the players then than Ange himself? Would you put the blame on the players then?
I mean, strictly yes, simply. But when I say blame, I mean there is just so much wrong that just saying blame one area. There's so many moving dynamics to this whole issue that we have. Whereas you start looking at injuries and who's to blame for the injuries, then the players, who's to blame there. We're up against one of the best sides in Europe, if not the world. Okay, and we've got to say to ourselves, we had a significant amount of our best players out, starting from Van der Ven to Solanke. I would still have expected that team to go out there though and perform better than that. I wasn't expecting a win. If I'm being honest, I was expecting to go out tonight, but not to go out like that. And really, the players it was just a case of they just fell apart in my eyes. Like you said, Kinski was dubious today, to say the least. I mean, we were lucky in my eyes to go into the first half, at the end of that first half, to only be one goal down. So I was expecting them to come out with a little bit more fire in the second half, but it was poor. I just think that we lack quality, is my honest answer, and that quality is we're going to struggle to replace the likes of what we've lost. So if you take the squad that we had back in 2016, or going into the Champions League final, and compare the quality now, I mean, simply we've not replaced any of that quality. Whether you start in the centre of the park with Eriksen and Moussa Dembele, I mean, it's light years. It's just light years. It's just not been replaced. So, sorry, Karen.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, was you impressed by any of the new signings that came on that we got in January? Obviously not Kinski, but the other two.
If I'm honest, not really. But it's a baptism of fire. I mean, you're asking the first game that you're going to be up against is a semi-final against Liverpool at Anfield. So I'm not in judgment. I'm not going to judge them as yet. But if you're asking, was I impressed? No, not really. It was just, I think, just too much to do. It was just trying to push it too much. I mean, I can understand why threw the defender in. But then again, it's, you know, do you then begin to change that? The worst thing you can do is really keep changing your defensive line. But if he felt that, you know, it was going to improve things and sort of make things a bit more steady, I don't really, you know, think that it was any of those goals were particular defensive errors for me. It just, there was a total breakdown for me in that second half. I don't know if you could blame Danso potentially for the first goal. Really should have got a little bit more of his body on it. Even Archie Gray, I guess, from his position there, he's caught between two men. Who does he go to? Does he look over his shoulder? But I just thought that there was just such a difference in quality today, and it just showed. And it was just a really, really disappointing performance in that second half for me. There was just not enough fight. And even in the first half, really, if you're going to go in for a tackle, go in for a tackle. Don't mess around and just put your foot there for the sake of, you know, putting it in. How many times were we left on our backsides? I mean, Sonny, Sarr, it was just like, it was men against boys, really, if I'm being honest.
So, looking at Villa on Sunday, do you think we'll get a result, or is this the end of our cup run?
Again, it's, look, they're going to have the wind in their sails. They've just signed Rashford. They've been on a good run. They're in a decent position on the table. I mean, potentially, you know, it's an avenue for silverware for them, and they're at home. So, with that team going to Villa with that result, I think you've got to put them as steady favourites. Can we turn it around? I think we can, but it's going to take a bit of a capitulation on the part of Villa for that to happen, which is what disturbs me a little bit with this team, because I think we are waiting for those mistakes, I think, from other teams, as opposed to creating our chances as you know, instead of we don't seem to be crafting things ourselves, or if we do, it's rare. You know, it's like I said, it's a bit disturbing for me. For a long time, we've not had any real creativity in the middle of that park. We brought in Maddison, who again for me has been really inconsistent. He, you know, had a great start. He got injured. He came back, and I don't think he's ever really rediscovered that initial form that he had. And without that creativity in the middle of the park, and without anybody to be able to put their foot and hold that ball up as well, we're really fragile in that midfield. And until we find that formula, that combination of players, I think we're going to struggle. Really, I think Harry Kane's performances after Eriksen and Dembele left, I think, make his performances as a player so much more extraordinary at Tottenham. And I think basically that was just papering over the cracks. But what we're seeing now is the lack of having that inspirational talent in the squad is unfortunately what is really showing up the problems now. And I don't know how serious Richie's injury was, and it sort of, you know, it's again sort of, he's ended up being more of a liability than anything. I really feel for him, but it's a case of we can't keep having this. We can't keep having 3 games in and then half a season out. It's just crazy.
George, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in. And hopefully we get a better result on Sunday.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Yeah.
Take care, George. Nice one. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, lack of fight it's probably going to be the
Theme of the show.
Theme of the show. Yeah. Should we bring out the next guest? Raj. Hello.
Hi. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Well, it's good to
apart
talk
from
to.
apart from the result, it's good.
It's good to talk to some fans that, you know, look like they know a bit or two.
It was men against boys today. I couldn't believe it. I was looking for who was going to be the player that was going to stand up and be counted, and it's the same old story. Champions League final, no show. Final against Man City, no show. Semi-final a couple of seasons ago against Chelsea, both legs we got battered, no show. Same old story. And you're looking for someone to stand up. And in all those games I mentioned, we've had Son in that team. And I just thought he just didn't show up today as well. He's our big game player. You look at a couple of seasons ago, he was Golden Boot winner with joint with Salah. Look what Salah's doing now, and look what Son is doing.
But do you put that down to that Salah has more help than what Sonny does? Because if you look at the quality of the team, would Salah be producing the exact same in a Spurs team as he is and could Son produce better if he was in a Liverpool team?
Well, Son, that team a couple of seasons ago, that Son finished Golden Boot winner. We had Nuno in charge. He was the one that was leading, and he's just fallen away. I don't think if you put Salah in our team, maybe we just don't know. But this is the comparison. You're looking for big players to turn up in big games like this. I mean, Basuma and Sarr today, our midfield was just, they couldn't do anything. You look at Basuma. You look at big games. Yeah, we played Chelsea. It was 2-2. Looking for cool heads. Look what Basuma did. Give penalty away. Sarr gives a penalty away against Arsenal. Basuma loses the ball. Big game. And today is why didn't Bergwall play?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what did you think of the team selection and the tactics?
Yeah, it's like he completely went defensive when he's never done that. Throughout he said, well, he put out, he didn't play Porro. It's as though he went completely pragmatic. He goes, I'll go pragmatic today, completely. Sit back, and he's never done that.
You reckon that backfired then? You reckon he should have been a bit more...
I mean, Porro didn't play. And he's played nearly every game. And when it comes to the crunch, he doesn't play. And
so do you think Porro...
Archie's been playing in defence for the last 10,
yeah, I was going to ask about
15 games, and he shifts him again in this one.
So you think Archie Gray should play not in defence? Is that what you're saying? And then Porro should have started?
Well, it would have been a consistent. Selection, wouldn't it? If he played, Archie just continued playing. I know Dancer is our new centre back, but when you're talking about consistency and in selection.
Archie Gray as a right-sided centre-back alongside Ben Davies and had Porro as a right-back.
Yeah.
And then push up the pitch a bit more.
Well, yeah, we would have, I think that would have been the better, but initially they were just too strong as well. We didn't create anything, did we? We didn't make the goalkeeper. Only in the second half, I think Son hit the bar. In the 65th. Apart from that, there was nothing.
You're essentially saying that we went too far one way as opposed to going too far the other way. Like there was no middle ground. Is that
this is it. Like just Basuma, Sarr, and Bentancur right through the middle, and no creativity. Kulu out on the right, and in the second half, after they scored the penalty, brought Kulu back in and changed it around. Maybe we moved. I think we were a bit more, saw a bit of movement, but there was no real passing movement in the first half. We weren't getting behind them or nothing. I think they were just picking their moment, really.
So we
That
were
will.
more attacking in the second half. We were more defensive in the first half. Only conceded 1 goal in the first half, but in the second half, when we went
Second
more
of all,
attacking,
the penalty, that was just, these things happen, but yeah, we were totally, they were just, they just picked us off, I thought. And the header, I mean, should Van Dijk have been sent off? So I've been seeing a lot of chats from my friends who Spurs fans who are thinking maybe Van Dijk might have had what he did to Richarlison, but I don't know.
So where do we go from? Where do we go from here, Raj? What happens Sunday?
Oh yeah, it's I think, well, we've had a few good results down Villa Park, but yeah, we need to win that. Yeah, otherwise, to get knocked out like we did it, we need to put a performance in for a start. Show a bit of fight, and we need to show something. We need to bounce back from this. Can't just lie down and just. Otherwise, Angie's going to be in trouble.
Raj, thank you for calling in.
Okay.
But yeah, as always, make sure you call in on Sunday as well
Yeah.
after the game.
We'll see that.
see
Hopefully.
where your mood's in. But yeah,
Okay.
no, thank you,
Yeah,
Raj.
take care, Raj.
Let's bring on the man of the hour. The man who sometimes knows what he's talking about, sometimes doesn't know. We love Brian. Brian,
Go on, let us have it.
go on.
How we doing, lads? And excuse me, everyone in the chat. What can I say? But to start off with, when I fell in love with Tottenham Hotspur, when I started supporting this great football club, I used to hear things like, "The game is about glory." To dare is to do used to mean something. Basically, in that game, a team that care about trophies and prioritise trophies won a game of football, and a team that priorities anything but football lost a game of football. To dare
Right.
is to do.
Brian, just on that, a lot
Yeah.
of Liverpool fans would disagree with you. A lot of Liverpool fans would say that their owners don't want. I get what you're saying. I completely get, but there'd be Liverpool fans, and when you speak to them, they want FSG out as well, and say they don't concentrate on football either.
But do you know what? You look at it, and I do know people that say it, and I'll tell you what, right now, all you Liverpool fans, I'd swap Daniel Levy for FSG in a goddamn heartbeat. I would do whatever would need doing to be able to swap those two. But you have to remember, Marlon Ashbath, Liverpool have a rich heritage of success.
Of course, yeah, but
Liverpool fans don't just crave success, they demand it.
Yes.
We have a fan base here that just crave it. And it's like, oh, well, we got to a semi-final. Oh, jolly good. You're 2-0 down and you know you need a goal. You have this manager that wants to play attacking, free-flowing football. Did you see any desire to try and get a shot on goal? A shot on target?
Nope.
Did you see any forward-thinking planning?
Nope.
Did you? There is nothing at this football club. There is nothing. It's just literally, oh, okay, Spurs have got a fixture today. I feel like Sunday League football when you just rock up in a minibus and you try and find the designated driver. It's jumpers for goalposts. We couldn't make simple passes to each other. What I will say, in the first half, the back five did everything they possibly could. They were under siege.
Yep.
Because the midfield has absolutely no idea of what it's doing. There is no attacking prowess or adventure. And it was just wave after wave after wave of attack. And that back four, where you had Danso making his debut, Archie Gray playing right back, then left back, when he could have got into centre midfield, but no, we put him at left back so we could put the right back at right winger, and the right back who can play a right winger, we're putting you at right back.
Who's that on?
Mate, honestly, it's listen. I've been Angel since Arsenal. I don't understand how he's got any defence. I don't. You could. We've got Richarlison. Richard.
right?
I mean, this guy is. As much as I wanted to work out for him, as much as he had that purple patch last season, we've now got a 19-year-old Mateus Tell who has to play every single game for us, who actually showed more aggression, passion for the ball and everything than our captain. He's shouting and screaming and directing play and dropping deep, trying to get on the ball.
Give it a couple of weeks, Brian. He'd be the same as everyone else, though.
Mate, he'll be injured. He'll be injured. Mate, like I said, this football club used to stand for things. These mottos meant something to the fans, meant something to the club. When you're 2-0 down and you need a goal, just nothing. Just let's defend a 2-0 defeat.
Brian, where was Beyonce today?
Fuck no. I'll tell you what,
Jay-Z.
true to form, I guarantee you, good old Spurs tomorrow, as they normally do after big defeats, in big moments, we'll announce a new partnership or a new concert. Will be a new
There'll
artist.
be money off in the shop tomorrow.
Oh, mate, today, mate, I tweeted it today at 10:30 this morning, my time, 3:30, sorry, your time. I got a goddamn notification to say I could get 20% off the third kit.
Hey.
Mate, I'll give you a clue. Not even if it was 99% off, would I put a penny in Daniel Levy and Enix's pocket. I just don't, honestly. The performance was embarrassing. And people go, oh, yeah, they're the best team in the world at the moment. You're all right. We've had to do that before, but at least we've got them full. At least we've tried to give a good account of ourselves. At least we've given everything on the pitch. That was a clueless performance, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
No, look, I couldn't agree more. I think the performance, like, I can't sit there and, yes, the board have issues. However, going out there today, I think only 2 players can really stand up and go, I did my bit. And that was probably Jed and Archie Gray to a certain extent, because Archie Gray was playing out of position. He ain't
I
played
would
right
say
back.
Ben Davies, in my opinion.
I would also actually add to that, you guys. I would actually say Danso on his debut.
I think why I've not mentioned Danso and Davis is because the goals actually did come from the middle. And yes, they weren't. I get that you guys are saying they know and under pressure and there weren't not much they could do, and it come from the midfield. But you look at the penalty. Davis is out of position. He gets caught behind, and Nunez goes beyond Danso. So you have to look at the ifs and buts in there. Like, they played okay, but there was mistakes in there where I looked at Gray for the first goal probably made a mistake, but Spence I kind of thought was quite faultless. Like, Salah rarely got past him.
Yeah, but so you say that Salah. Spence should never have given Salah that amount of time to get that ball in.
The ball into the
the
box.
first
So
goal.
that's funny because where Salah plays the ball from, because whoever goes on the outside, Spence goes to, and Son, who was backing him up, allows him to have all that space because he's dropped it deeper. Watch it.
Yeah, no, listen, you may have a point, but listen, you look at it, that midfield gave the ball away time after time after time.
Yeah, you can't vouch for that.
Yeah, listen, we have literally the attack we couldn't get the ball to, the midfield couldn't get forward because there was no creativity. They kept giving the ball back giving the ball away. Sorry, and there meant to be an insurance policy in front of that defence, and it was just wave after wave of attack. You just saw it cut. And do you know what? At half time, 1-0, you thought, all right, cool. Andrew, get in there, sort this out, or at least attempt to. It was even worse that second half.
Yeah,
Worse. And like we said, the right back, who is a centre midfield, who was ball to play as a centre midfield, then gets put a left back when there was a left back and right back on the pitch so he could play in his position. But no, we then put him at left back, but then we'll put the right back who can play right wing right back, and the right back who can play right back and left back at right wing.
That sounds so confusing. That's mad. But listen, do you think...
Hold on, because we've got 2 super chats, and I want Brian to answer one of them because one of them is aimed at him.
Go on.
So the first super chat... where's it gone? Samuel Lynch has put Brian... he said it says based as usual, but I'm assuming biased as usual. And then before you answer that, I'll just read the other put. Sad part is I think the result stays the same even with our full 11. Copy and paste type goals we conceded even before the injuries.
Yeah, listen, if you want to say biased, if whoever said I'm biased, well, show me where I've gone wrong. Show me what I've said has gone wrong. Show me where, when I came on, I said the game is about glory, what this club used to stand for.
We did have another super chat as well. Sorry.
Go on, bro.
Paul Langley also said, big up Brian.
Yeah, it's cool. Listen, people can say, well, they want me to. People think will always find a way to blame Daniel Levy. Yes, I bloody well will. Does he deserve to be blamed for everything that goes on in this football club? Yes, he bloody does. Do I think Ange has got to, in all honesty, pay for his job? Yes, I bloody well do. Are the players not good enough? No, they're bloody not. You tell me where I can change and not be biased and show...
Okay. He's added another super chat because he says, I said Brian is based, which means spot on.
There you go. Then I take back everything I might have said. You know what I mean? Listen, this is
bias towards leading out.
Mate, listen. If Daniel Levy gets out of bed and he puts his left leg down before his right leg when he's promised to do it the other way round, I'll have a go at him. If Daniel Levy does anything, I will be the first in the queue to put this blame on him because everything this club stood for as a football club, I've
never heard that before. Based.
No longer stands for what it stands for. Success is deemed by the tills rigging. I put a tweet out afterwards. I said, you know what? To dare is to do used to mean something as a football club, but now the fans... The only way to change this is the fans should have a motto of their own, and it should be to dare is to boycott. And I'm not just talking about not going into the ground. I mean, if you go into that ground, which is your right as a season ticket holder, and I get so many people that are Levy out go in because they have followed this club, and I know many of them for years and years before Levy came. That is their right to do it. And I'd rather have season ticket holders that are Levy out going in and putting the pressure on than their tickets going to someone who might not. Stop spending money in the food and drink. Obviously, if you've got kids or you're on medication, you need... Don't go in that club shop and spend money. There's other ways. The only way this man listens is financial.
Last question, Brian, for myself.
Go on, bro.
Villa... If he loses, is Ange gone, or does he get Europa?
I said I think he's got this game and this game alone to solve it. And
so
the manner of
that... You think he's gone after
No,
this?
I mean, if I had my way, he'd be gone.
Okay.
If I had my way, do I think...
Yeah, if he loses again, because Villa's had a whole week to rest, and we're clearly short. Like, if you looked at our bench today, apart from what? Tell, would you say? Porro, Bergvall... There wasn't really much, obviously, Mikey Moore, there wasn't really much on the bench. We're quite short there, aren't we? So going into that game, do you think if we lose, do you think they still trust in him?
If it's a defeat like that, I mean, I'm trying to think about it, how that man upstairs will look about it. If it's a really poor defeat, then I don't listen. I would pull the trigger now. I would want him to. He won't. I think he's got Villa, and if it's another performance like this, you got to remember this is 0 shots on target. Do you remember how mad everyone used to go about Nuno?
What content?
We had 0, mate. But remember, we had 2 or 3 games with Nuno where we had no shots on target, and the whole fan base went nuts. Well,
when that Palace away.
We had it Palace, West Ham.
Yeah.
There was another game as well. I can't remember which one it was, but there's 3 with Conte. Nuno. How long do you carry this on? So if Villa is a performance like this, he has to. I would hope Spurs pull the trigger, because you look at new managers with new manager bounces that have come in. Just look at David Moyes. Not saying that automatically happens. Not saying we find someone
We
to come
won't
in
employ
and do it.
David Moyes. Will we? Come on.
No, I'm saying, look at
As in, not as in we'll get David Moyes exactly. We won't get a manager that's going to make a massive impact right now. I think we're at a point where the manager merry-go-round, Postecoglou's our fourth choice. We went through 11 when Nuno joined.
Yep. Yeah, and while you look at it, Marlon, just very quickly, there was all that talk after Leicester that Allegri, all that.
Yeah.
Why would Allegri come in? And if they say, it's 4 months for a stopgap, what's Allegri?
I tell you now, Allegri comes in.
Money.
I tell you, if Allegri comes in, the whole project or whatever they're trying to do goes completely under the bus.
Of course, it's another. Mate, there is no project. But people got to remember. Every time Levy's lips move and he says, this is a project or this is a stage, this is the road we're going down, he is lying and going down that road.
Yeah.
Every time, it doesn't matter. And like I've said, whoever comes in,
he can't appoint
and
Allegri.
signs a contract, they are screwed before the ink dries on the contract.
Like, I'd take Allegri, don't get me wrong, but a lot of fans won't. But you look at the way he plays football, and it's not. They said they're going a certain way after Postecoglou with managers, and Allegri will be completely the opposite direction to what they've brought in.
Correct. And once again, the manager will be defensive, but apparently we were going to play the Tottenham way and stick to a structure, but we go defensive, attacking, old, young, youth project, experienced. Mate, every time it is an absolute hook, line and sinker from Daniel Levy. When his lips move, he's telling you a lie.
Yeah, he's always better off not speaking, isn't he?
Mate, listen, I wouldn't trust Daniel Levy to tell me the time.
Yeah, he'd take your money Simple at the same time. You'd end up giving him money after he's told you the time.
It's just another sad day. It's just another embarrassing day where the Spurs fans have gone up and given their all again, made that massive track up to Liverpool, taken time off work, gone up there, paid money for this.
On one thing though, the whole Anfield look, us going to Anfield and losing is nothing new. That's not a Levy thing.
Do you know? No, it's not. It's been an Anfield curse, but you know what would make an impact if you actually signed elite players like this stadium was going to do? If you bought leaders that could go see through a game. Look at that Liverpool squad, mate. And like you said at the beginning of this, there's people that want FSG out. They've won absolutely every title available to them.
Under FSG,
redeveloped Anfield.
Yeah.
Got rid of Klopp, left, brought in Slot. And like I said, mate, that's a club that prioritised football success against a football club or one football club that now is a business club that now prioritise that stadium in the entertainment arena.
But again, FSG, since they won the title, wiped their hands clean and went, we don't really need to do anymore. And they didn't really invest in the team. And then they've gone through. You got to remember, Slot has taken over a team and made one signing in the last year, and this team needed players. Yes, they're good enough, but they need to move on. But FSG always do it when it's desperation time, and admittedly, they get it right. When they go and bring in the player like a Gravenberch and the players they do bring in, they would, like, majority of the time they tend to not get it wrong as much as we do. However, Liverpool would probably say they needed a stronger squad to compete with Liverpool and Arsenal for the last 2-3 seasons. And they've been nowhere near. Well, apart from last year for the first time.
Yeah, but also what I would say with that as well, Marlon, is if you look at it, when they lose a manager, they hire a manager with the same kind of football principles. Only because
Michael Guy came back in. Otherwise,
they
were a bit screwed.
Literally, if you look through the history, apart from Benitez and Hodgson, they go with attacking managers. So when the manager comes in, it may not be the exact players they want, but he has a group of players that can play in a system that are with his philosophy. So Jurgen Klopp had that team left. They brought another attacking-minded manager that can use these players to the best of their ability because he's got the players there that can suit his system. Whereas we'll go defensive, attacking, defensive, young, old, and every single time the manager has to deal with a squad and players that have been brought in that are the exact opposite to what this guy needs. Then you have to get them out. Then we overprice them. Then you got to get them in. We won't pay them. Just like I said, today is to boycott.
Yeah, so we got another super chat from Michael Roach. It says players won't join, players will leave. And I think we had another one that I may have missed. No, Brian, you're the man. Hold them all accountable. American Spurs supporter here since 2011. This ownership is criminal and they have poisoned the club. Another super chat from Paul Langley. He hasn't put anything, 3 years. So celebrating that. If he's put anything, he can tell us later. And that's it. But Brian, on a quick note, where do we go from Sunday? What do we do? Oh, I'm sorry. One second. Another super chat. We're getting loads of them tonight. Recruiting crap. Millions more than others. No leaders. And that's from Status Change. Thank you again for the super chat.
Yep. Mate, listen, where can we go? Listen, the only way, I don't even know. I can't see us beating Villa now. More injuries or Richarlison, should we say? There won't be anyone back. They're going to be exhausted, and we just repeat the same cycle. I'll be back here, whoever's doing the fan show, and probably just replay my interview. Just replay it.
Yeah, people might not notice it's not me and you. They might say.
It's what we do. Just listen. I can see Jory in the background, so I'll get off because the Joracle needs to speak, and I know you two need to catch trains. But yeah, listen,
he's going.
It's
going to be me and Jory taking over.
Okay, well, yeah, we're just getting to the point now where it's just repeat. Listen, it's the same thing over and over again. Football club hasn't got a clue what it's doing. The owners are ridiculous. The manager is out of ideas and, in my honest opinion, out of time. The players aren't good enough, and hopefully I just pray against Manchester United, with everything that Change for Spurs are doing or Change for Tottenham are doing, they get the support on that march and everything else they have planned. I just hope. Yeah. I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get it, and I will not stop promoting it.
The sit-in could be the best thing that they've done. Because
we'll see how much security Daniel Levy brings in, because remember, this doesn't get to him. He's got a thick skin.
It's already on.
So listen, go get Jory on. But guys, I will speak to you all soon. Everyone in the chat, have rest of your evening, a good rest of your evening, and we'll speak again soon. But Levy out.
Brian, as always.
I'm out. Levy out.
So Ash is out. I'm gonna just talk to the rest of the gang while they're here. Ash is going. Big up to people. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to Spurs Kings TV, where you can catch Ash as well. We've got another super chat before we bring Joria on. Our project is Profit Before Performance. And Michael has put, words cannot describe the level of shame I feel for my support for this club. And what I'm going to do before Jory comes on, I'm going to move Grandpa up so he's with me.
Big up, man. Jory, talk to me.
Hey, my friend. Cozy tonight, just me and you.
Just me and you. Let's get personal.
Yeah. Let's get into the intimate details of this shit show, eh?
So, where do you stand on it? Obviously, we went out with that starting lineup. He went defensive. Well, we think he went defensive. Where do you think it went wrong in that first half?
I sent you guys a bit of a cheeky super chat because you were praising the tactics, and to be honest, I was the same. I was happy with the double pivot. I thought the double pivot, having both of the mature players in the double pivot as well, and then so I kind of liked everything. I thought starting Kevin Danso was maybe risky, just because we haven't seen him even train or anything. But that was a pretty good call as well, considering he had some bad passes and so on. But I mean, we gotta give him some time to land, in this club, But unfortunately he had to get started with this big game. But I also sent you another super chat, which is where I felt like it was a complete tactical disaster from Ants. Not the
Yep.
setup, but he didn't follow through with it. And what do I mean? I mean, like every time we wrestled the ball back, and of course the players have their part to play as well. I saw again and again, like Saar had a bad game. Saar was usually in front, quite a lot in front of Bentancur in a heartbeat. And so you don't have a transition there. How you can't have your 6 in front of your 8 in every time we turn over the ball, and so I just, and like we saw it again and again, the few players that got forward, they didn't get any out balls to play, so it was tactically completely wrong. He should have brought, I don't know. I mean, of course, it would be harsh to sub in the first half, but I I thought like another manager would have screamed these instructions, would have gotten them to understand, would have gotten Rodri forward. Like he would say, "What, Rodri? Don't go so deep. Be ready to go forward. Whatever, because we could not transition out of our own half." And so we go to which we do all the time, by the way, Marlon. It's like every time, the only time we have a midfield is when teams are sitting really deep.
Yeah,
the rest of the time, we don't have any joy in the midfield. Then we go to these extremely narrow transitions on the wings, which are very high risk, kind of, maybe not high risk, but high likelihood that they won't come off. Actually, I think Spurs have now perfected that, and we have actually a quite high percentage compared to how tight the space you're working in there. But if you completely abandon the midfield like we do so many times, you're basically kind of ensuring that you won't be able to create space, because they have the midfield, they're comfortable, they're resting in the midfield. And so where's your outballs going to go? There's only two ways to do it. It's to sprint down the sidelines, and then of course every time with us there's nobody in the box to pass it to anyway.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem.
So I thought, like, tactically it was a complete no-show, really. I mean, for me, I felt like he set up, like, this is me, like, I feel like Hans is like completely out of his depth in this, on these levels, because I feel like he just set up in this way, which kind of is the right way. I agree with that. Double pivot for sure.
Yeah.
But then he just left it. Like, there was, like, you need to make sure that it's then being implemented, and it wasn't being implemented. So I don't know. What's your take on it, Marlon?
So yeah, I agree with you about the first half. For me, and I think what a lot of people have kind of said is that we couldn't even put two passes together. Most of them just weren't. It wasn't like they were playing in a semi-final. No. It felt like it was just another league game that they expected to go to Anfield and they just rolled over. Now, I wanted to ask you about the second half. Is that more down to Ange? Because obviously he saw how the first half went and didn't decide to fix it. And he was like, okay, we're doing all right. But then we've come out in the second half and we've got worse.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. And we of course got right from the start under even more pressure than in the first half. But I thought it was a big mistake to not sub Saar at that moment.
I was the same. Yeah, I was with you on that.
I would have said, and the big mistake also is, and like, this is what you're doing, Hans. You've been bragging your ass off in every press conference. This is who I am. Blah blah blah. Is this who you are? There was no commitment forward. There was no risk being taken to have a chance at the goal. And of course, it doesn't help when we have a captain that can live with himself going missing game after game after game, important game after game after game. I'm sorry, you feel more comfortable with the kids than with the grown-ups, Sonny. That's one of your weakness. That's just facts, you know. That's not good. Kulu is, of course, is understandably still tired, even though they have had some rest. We didn't see the best from him. I mean, you know, and you can say what you want. Like the Jet Spence had more fight in him alone than the rest of the team.
Do you think Jed Spence's fight is down to because he's probably the only one in his team who's really had to fight to get his place back compared to the rest who Andrews trusted, and he didn't really trust Spence at the beginning.
Yes, and he just doesn't like losers, and he isn't a loser, and that's what's rubbing Spurs the wrong way. That's what's rubbing the managers the wrong way. That you know, as a father, if I meet a kid, if one of my kids is like, man, I'm better than that. Like you know, has that kind of cockiness, it will completely undermine your authority, and you'll get completely triggered, and that's definitely what Spence has been doing, both with Conte and Ants. But I'm sure he also had his issues and needed to grow up and so on. But as a player, forget about it. He's a great player, and he has exactly the type of I don't give a shit attitude that most of our club doesn't have. You know, we have players. Kulu has a bit of that in a even more mature and constructive way, but we have a lot of weak guys that like they came to Anfield fearing the loss rather than craving the win.
Frozen? Is he frozen? Ah. Jory, can you hear me? Has he frozen? Look, he's done exactly what the Spurs team have done tonight, and they froze in that second half. Typical when you go and ask a decent question as well. Was Jory the last one? So Jory was the last one. Guys, thank you so much for joining me and Ash for the watch along today. Like I'm going to repeat, please please hit the subscribe button on Spurs Kings TV. Come and help me and Ash out. It helps us out massively. If you're not subscribed to Ben and Sim, please make sure you are. Make sure you hit the like buttons. Make sure you share it. Ben and Sim will probably be back tomorrow for the breakdown of what's happened today. But as always, thank you for joining me and Ash today. Everybody that's been in, I know it's not been the best result. Look, we're back Sunday against Villa. Hopefully we can get a result. But as they say, it's been an absolute pleasure to share this with you guys today. But as always, come on you Spurs.